Okay, if you have found this video, that means that you have been on a long search to find the most perfect way to make clear ice. We here at Mixed Cocktail Hour have been doing a couple ways. We have done top down here, and I always liked top down. It gave me much better ice than just making it in a tray in my freezer. The problem with it is I always got these little bubbles. Sometimes it was better than others, but I always got these little bubbles, and if I ever let it sit for a couple hours too long, it would freeze right through. So, me and the ice nerds, the ice geniuses here at Mixed Cocktail Hour have devised a new way to do this, which is still using the same idea, directional freezing, but now we are freezing from the bottom up. So this is bottoms up to make the most perfect, beautiful piece of clear ice. Here are the steps. These are the tools that you will need to complete this, okay? Most of these you probably have at your house already, but just in case, we put some links below. A 15-inch saw, glue gun with ammo, a tape measure or a ruler, a 2-inch putty knife, scissors, some kind of cutter, I prefer the Olfa, a sheet of 120 grit sandpaper, and a Sharpie. The materials you need here are pretty specific, so follow along and follow this list as closely as possible. We've tested this a bunch of times, and these are the ones that we got to work. If you choose to substitute any items, well, we can't guarantee that this will work for you. A roll of tape, a straight edge, a 12-quart cooler, a 2x2 foot, 1-inch piece of insulation, a 50 GPH USB aquarium pump, insulated small soft cooler, a foot of flexible insulation, 2 rechargeable USB batteries. Now allow yourself a couple of hours to complete this process when you're doing it for the first time. Remove the lid completely and throw it away. These lids are not insulated and therefore not of any use to us. Download the template we have provided for you for your foam size and print out and trim to size. Use your template to mark off the foam for your bottom lid. Use your straight edge and knife to cut out the foam for the inside of your new lid. Use your template to measure off your 2 pieces of foam required for this. Once you have them roughly trimmed, hot glue 2 pieces together. Use your template to trim off the corners. Check the fit of your piece with the cooler. Take your sandpaper and a piece of your excess foam for a sanding block and sand around the edge. Check the fit again with your cooler. Keep repeating this process until you have a snug fit with the lid and the cooler. Once you have the desired fit, you can set this piece aside. Turn the cooler upside down on the remaining foam sheet and mark around the cooler on the foam. Press the cooler down firmly so you can see the imprint of where the hinge flange is, as you will need to remove this piece later. Cut out this piece of foam and then use this to measure your second piece and trim this out. Cut the nubs of the hinge off with your knife. Find the hinge impression on the foam and trim that out with your knife. Check the fit of your foam against the cooler. Once you are satisfied, hot glue your 2 pieces of foam together. Trim off the corners with your knife. Sand around the edges to clean up as you did previously. Check the fit again. Align the bottom piece of foam with the top piece and mark with a Sharpie. Hot glue the 2 pieces together and make sure you use enough glue to seal the 2 pieces of foam securely. Finally, check the fit the last time. So you finished phase 1, and please do not skip phase 1. I know that all of these coolers, they come with lids, but those lids are hollow, so you'll get ice freezing from both ways, from the uninsulated bottom and the uninsulated top. And when ice freezes from 2 different ways, that's how you get that bunk ice, where it's freaking out and not directional freezing. So make sure you get this lid built for your box. so that none of the cold is coming from the top, only from the bottom. Let's go on to phase 2. You are now ready to cut the outside plastic off your cooler. Measure 3.5 inches from the bottom and mark all around the cooler with a Sharpie and straight edge. Use a piece of 1-inch tape to mark off where you will cut around the cooler. Use the saw to cut through the exterior plastic, but do not go too deep and cut through the interior plastic liner. Use your putty knife to remove the exterior plastic. Once the foam is exposed, you can remove this. Clean the excess foam with the putty knife. Set aside. Okay, so you finished phase 2. Very, very important that you are ginger with that cutting. If you slice through, you're SOL. There's no way to come back from that. Remember, 3.5 inches from the bottom, we have found is the Goldilocks zone. We've tried other things. We've tried higher, we've tried lower. If you hit it at 3.5 inches, then you have enough room for all of that ice to start freezing, but not to freeze too fast. If you go lower, you're not gonna get any freezing at all. It's just gonna be insulated. So make sure you hit 3.5 inches and you should be just fine. Let's head to phase 3. Unpack your batteries and fully charge both before placing them on the flexible insulation. Wrap the batteries in the foam and secure with tape to make a little pouch for your batteries. Using the batteries that we have in the link is very important. All the other batteries we tried failed due to freezing. Daisy chain the batteries together. The battery that is attached to the pump will be charged by the donor battery. Unpack your pump and plug it into your source battery and test. Once you know it's working, unplug and set aside. Rinse out any dust or plastic from the cooler and fill with tap water to the bottom of the indents on the inside of the cooler. Turn the pump switch to high, then secure to the side with the built-in suction cups on the pump. Make sure the nozzle of the pump is 1/2 inch below the surface of the water. It will eventually freeze if it is too shallow. Place the new lid on the cooler. Place your batteries in the pouch and secure with a clip. Place this in any soft lunchbox type cooler for added protection for your batteries to prevent them from freezing. Pro tip: if you do not have a shelf in your freezer that you can set your cooler on, place it on a baking rack or similar so the air can circulate around the bottom of the cooler. This will reduce your freezing time. This should take anywhere from 48 to 72 hours depending on the temperature of your freezer. You should check your batteries about every 18 to 24 hours. The donor battery will discharge first, leaving the battery that is attached to the pump charged. If the donor battery is low, remove and charge. Make sure you leave the pump running while charging. When charged, plug it back into the other battery. In a 48-hour freeze, you should only have to do this once. When you are checking the battery, also remove the lid from the cooler. If you see any surface ice, break it up with your finger. Check the depth of the ice in the cooler with your finger. This is important because the ice at the bottom is so clear that it will appear invisible when you look through the surface of the water. All right, if you have done this correctly, you will have a bit of water left up here. Now, depending on your freezer, you're gonna go for about 48 to 72 hours, but you wanna make sure that when you push your finger in here, there is definitely ice. We are going to unplug the circulator. We are going to get rid of the water here on top. We are then going to put down some sort of tin to keep the water in. And we're gonna turn this upside down. Now yours may take a little longer to drop than ours. Ours has been sitting out for a little bit, so there we have it. And here's the reveal, ready? Oh my goodness, it's so good. It's so good. Look at this. Wow, there is not a single bit of anything other than, of course, right here, but you're gonna chop this away. Everything else in here is so perfect. For comparison, can I grab the other one? Thank you. This is top down. Now, we didn't do great on this top down, but you'll notice in top down, you have all kinds of little bubbles that you have no real control over. There's no control over getting some of these bubbles in there. But with this, it's perfectly clear every single time. My God. Gorgeous. So we have done this an awful lot of times, and we have found that this method is absolutely the best way to get the most flawless ice. If you do not want to put all this time into it, that's fine. You can do top-down freezing. Plenty of other videos online will teach you how to do that. But this, we have found, is able to make clear Clinebell machine ice for $100. If you want to go out and buy a Clinebell machine, 7, 10 grand, it's a lot of money. $100, we get you going here. Please remember to like, subscribe, share your successes, share your failures, ask us questions in the comments, and we will see you guys very soon. Thank you so much.